Hello, I'm Pastor Joe, and welcome to Impacts. Here, you're going to find some help, tips, and ideas to help nurture your faith in, commitment to, and relationship with Jesus Christ. Today, we're going to continue our exploration of how to study the Bible using the Inductive Bible Study method. So come on, let's get started. You know, over the last several weeks, we've really been looking at two different things. On one hand, we've been looking at how to read the Bible, and we've started looking at how to study the Bible. Now, these are two different things, but both of them are very important to our lives as Christians. Last week, we began looking at how to study the Bible by introducing you to the Inductive Bible Study method. And we began with the first step of that, which is observation or observing the text. Today, we're going to take a look at the next step, which is interpretation. Now, interpretation tries to answer the question of what is this text saying? What is the meaning of this text? As always, the first step that you need to do is pray. Begin studying the Bible always with prayer. Pray for God to speak to you, for God to open the Word and reveal His Word to you. Pray, and pray some more. I think that is the most important step in studying the Bible that any of us can do. The second step that I want you to do is read the text again, and then I want you to write a summary of what the theme of that section is. In your own words, briefly state what that passage is saying. You see, part of the goal of studying the Bible and what we're really trying to work towards is to get you to be able to read and come to an understanding of what that text is saying without having to have someone else tell you what it means first. We will consult experts and scholars, but you need to be able to read and do your own research and come to your own conclusions of what that text is saying based on the resources that you have looked at. The third step in the interpretation section is I want you to ask two questions of this text. The first one is, how does this passage relate to the whole story of the Bible? Is it consistent with what you've read elsewhere? Now, the second question is similar. How does this section relate to or compare to what comes immediately before and after? Is it consistent? Does it seem to be saying something different? You see, one of the important ideas that we need to keep before us is how we use Scripture to interpret Scripture. Scripture's not going to contradict itself. And it doesn't mean it's always easy to understand how they relate, but Scripture's not going to contradict itself. We just need to figure out how they fit together. Sometimes it's like a puzzle, and through doing research, we find how those pieces fit together. So take several minutes and look at how what you just read relates to the whole story of the Bible, but also what comes immediately before and after. Now, after you've asked those two questions and have had a chance to reflect on it, go back and look at your summary of what the passage says. Is there anything you would change about that? If there is, go back now and rewrite that or make those changes. And then the next step that I would encourage you to do is turn to your commentaries. If you've got more than one commentary, take a look at all those. But turn to the passage that you've read and see what some of the scholars are saying. Make notes about it. Is it consistent with what you thought it was going to say? Did you find anything that was that challenged some of your thoughts that you either have come to in this reading or that you've always held? So often our problem is we come to a text and we think we know what it says, and we're not always open to other messages and other words that may be within there. So again, turn to your commentaries and see what they say. And again, after you've done that, again go back to your summary of the passage and make any changes that may need to be there. Well, look, here's my challenge for you this week. I want you to take the notes that you started making last week in the Observe the Text section, and then go through the steps that I've shared with you today, filling in as much as you can. Really what we're trying to do is put some meat on those bones, if you will. We're trying to fill in as many questions, answer as many questions as we can. And as you do that, as you look at what you did last week and you do these steps this week, you're going to begin gaining an understanding of what this text is saying. And that's really the goal of what it is we're trying to do. I encourage you to begin with prayer and end with prayer. Bookend it in prayer. And look, don't think you have to sit down and do this in one sitting. You don't even have to do this in one day. The goal is to come to an understanding of what this passage of Scripture says. The goal isn't to set a speed record. Bible study is about coming to a deeper understanding. Reading the Bible is about getting a picture of the whole thing. So don't be in a hurry. Enjoy spending time in the Word, studying it, turn it over, and coming to a better understanding. Well, look, I hope that you will join me next week. I hope that you'll enjoy digging deeper in the Word. And next week we're going to be looking at the last step, which may be one of the most important. The first two obviously build to it, but next week's step is going to be application. What is this text calling us to do? How is this text shaping my life? Well, look, before you leave, I hope that you'll take the time to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any new videos that I may post. I hope that you will also take some time to like and share this video with your friends, because the more you share it, the more opportunity that others will have to learn and grow in their own faith. Until next week, may God's blessings be with you.